So how important is the launch of Suffolk Chamber in Central Suffolk?
Well, Suffolk Chamber is a major voice of business, both in the county and increasingly on a national stage. And I think great credit to the Chamber over the last 10 years of raising its profile nationally. Within the county, we need to have disparate, diverse voices, and we need to ensure that there's some equality of contribution from the various constituent parts of the county. One of the voices that's probably less well heard, despite the endeavours of many, is that area within the centre of the county, the heart of Suffolk. And the creation of Suffolk Chamber in the centre of the county will allow for new voices to be heard, will allow for greater diversity of voice, and will ensure that the contribution of business, commerce, and indeed the third sector in the heart of the county is recognised and adds value to the work elsewhere in the county.
And what are the immediate priorities for this new part of the Suffolk Chamber? What are you looking to achieve in the next 3 or 4 months?
I'd like to group those around 3 sort of broad headings, and these will be familiar to people within the Chamber networks, and they'll be familiar to many in business because they are consistent threads and issues and concerns. I think one is around people. We need to ensure that the diversity of the economy in Central Suffolk is recognised, and that we are developing the skills and competences of people, not just young people, but importantly young people, but also those currently in work, indeed those who are looking for different types of working practices, are again acknowledged, and that we have training and support and mentoring arrangements in place to allow people both to find jobs and for employers to find the people they need to be successful. So I think there's a range of activities around people, training, skills, etc., which I think we can focus on. And some of those will be very unique to place and to sector, and we need to recognise those uniquenesses. A second area will be around infrastructure. And this is a problematic one at one level. Big infrastructure developments are always, to some extent, problematic, but they are always more than pan-county. They're certainly regional, and in many instances, they are national. The development, the improvements of the A14 are critically important, and certainly we would want to support those. But I think other big, large-scale infrastructure developments need to be supported if they can pass some important tests, and those are around environmental sustainability and impact, they're around economic contribution, and they're around something more difficult to define, around the heart and culture of the place. Are they consistent with the heritage and the very attractiveness of the place that allows people to live comfortable lives now? One of those infrastructure developments, which will be again of national significance, is going to be around internet connectivity. It's going to be around not spots, phone availability, phone signal availability, etc. The heart of Suffolk suffers in a number of ways from poor connectivity. As we try to grow the economy of the centre of the county, addressing those issues, I think, are of primary importance. And the third of those is access to markets. It's around recognising the diversity of our current economy, and to provide opportunities both for trade within the county and across the country, and rather more problematically, perhaps in the future, more globally. Now, the development of a focus on Central Suffolk is not going to address the Brexit issue. However, what we can do through the Suffolk Chamber networks and through national networks through the British Chambers of Commerce is support local businesses, engage with the consequences of Brexit, whatever whatever we discover those to be, and to do that in a way that reflects and respects place. So we do that in a measured and tailored way. And I think that sort of offer is going to be very important. To facilitate some of the access to market work, our board will reflect the diversity of the economy. So it will be a mix of small and large businesses. It will reflect the geographic diversity of the patch from Eye to Sudbury, and with a rural hinterland in between, which is significant. We will look to reflect the challenges that those in the land-based economy have in terms of diversity of business and business opportunity and access to markets in areas that they are unfamiliar with. So I think there's a major agenda around that. And then we see that those three tend to come together to some extent. So it's about having the right people to address the new economic challenges. It's around having a viable and coherent and economically and environmentally sustainable infrastructure which supports people access new markets and maintain existing ones. And it's about the business support, the networking, the engagement practices which allow businesses to find, discover, research new markets and access them in new and interesting ways. And I think the new and interesting ways theme is perhaps a hidden fourth element here, because we are keen that the new structure, the Suffolk Chamber in Central Suffolk, itself operates in new and interesting ways, that we reflect the diversity of our county, that we use new technologies to do our business effectively, that we network with the various interests within the county, some of whom we may disagree with, but we respect and acknowledge those different perspectives, and we bring them into a family of interest, if you wish, that will allow us to take best practice and use that to drive the economy again in new and interesting ways.